So, I wasn't really thinking about doing this, but I'm gonna do it because I'm really shy and very embarrassed, but I'm gonna do it. So, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about my life. I met a guy who really likes me and it makes me very uncomfortable, but that's a good uncomfortable, not a bad uncomfortable. Got me out of my shell. I met him at a gay bar and had a child with him. Been with me ever since for a good, I want to say 9 years, maybe 8. I think it's 9. Anyways, we have great children. I have a 16-year-old, soon to be 17, who wanted desperately to be with me, but now doesn't want to be with me, doesn't want to have really sort of anything to do with me. And I have a little girl who's 7 years old. That's the guy I'm with now. That's his daughter. And she is so adorable, so cute, funny, just like her dad. And she's just she's everything to us. And fast, moving forward, we moved down to Texas. We were living in Minnesota. We moved to Texas thinking it would be great. It would be nice and new. Start our roots somewhere. But then things started happening that was not in the cards that I thought. I met, his parents, and I thought I was doing the right thing and asking them to watch our little girl until I could get apartment, and get a room set up and everything. But then I found out when she was supposed to come home after school was done, they showed up at our door with some papers and told us that if we didn't sign these papers that my other child would be taken away. Now, to recall, I asked his parents to watch the child, our daughter, so I could just get our foot back on the ground, getting a place, getting a job. We had a job. Well, he has a job. I had a job. We had a home. We had Section 8. We still do. And we have, food stamps. We have everything set up where she could come home. Now they're saying she cannot come home because she said something to somebody, but then they can't recall who she said it to. And so they have legally kidnapped my child, and I have been very depressed, very thinking horrible thoughts in my head that a mother should not be thinking. And despite it all, they're accusing my husband of doing something that he was helping me because I am disabled and I can't stand. And so he took on the role of taking care of her. Now, I think that is very, very noble of any man who is willing to step up and take part of his daughter's life or any kid's life and saying, yes, my wife is disabled. I will be taking care of the child more than she will. The grandparents don't find that an okay thing. They think that it's not a good thing that he takes care of her and bathes her and dresses her and feeds her and makes sure she gets to school, makes sure she gets whatever she needs. In all that, they are not letting us see our daughter. They say that they didn't want anything to do with us being around our daughter and pointing fingers like we are horrible people when all we have done is loved our children, taking care of our children, making sure they're safe. And now I have his parents trying to be the parents to our child when she doesn't even know who they are. They barely even came to see her when she was a baby. Like once a year, they would come and see her, and they would only stay for one day. And that was it. That was pretty much it. They didn't want nothing else to do with her. And when we came down here and we told them we were coming down here to move down here, to start over, to start fresh, they warned us not to have us come down here. They kept on saying, no, you shouldn't come down here. You shouldn't come down here. We didn't understand why they kept on telling us we shouldn't have come down here. Well, we figured out why, because they planned this whole thing out. They wanted to kidnap our child. They have it so gung-ho of going against us that they are trying to make it where we wouldn't be allowed to see our child, wouldn't have any connection, not have any intimacy of holding her, telling her that she's being loved by us. We can't even say that she can't even come home. And she's been asking numerous times, why can't I not come home? Can I please come home? I want to come home. And I have, as a parent, I have to legally sit by, crying my ass out, telling her that I can't say anything to her. I can't tell her why she can't come home. I can't tell her that her grandparents have legally kidnapped her and accused us of dumb shit that never happened. And we've had numerous people telling them nothing happened. That child can go home. But the grandparents have it so stuck in their head that they don't want to believe any of it. They don't want to believe authorities. They don't want to believe that the papers, what they say. They don't want to believe any legal issues. They want to sit here and just believe what they want to believe, and that we are horrible parents and we shouldn't have our child back. As a mom who is disabled, having a child ripped away from me, to anybody other mothers that have children ripped away from them because of people being accused of things that never even happened, and people that don't want to look at the evidence and say, oh, I have mistaked something, I should apologize. They don't want to apologize for what they have done. They know what they have done. They have legally kidnapped my little girl. And what's even sadder, that nobody down in Texas, down here, that I thought everyone have told me that Texas always wants to make sure that kids stay with their parents, making sure they're safe with their parents, and gotta stay together as a family. I'm sorry, but Texas has not done shit for me. I have tried every lawyer to talk to. I have tried even talking to everybody, and not one single person feels like they want to help me. They want to sit there and say, well, if you don't have this much of money, we can't get your children back to you. Or we can't help you because you are not high class. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a mom who loves her children to the best she can, who is willing to do anything, even embarrass herself right now because I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I needed somebody to talk to, and it feels like I have nobody to talk to. I have a child who adores her dad, loves her dad so much, and wants to always be around her dad. But now they can't even be together because of the grandparents and because of whoever else is in this weird caca maniac stuff. It it boggles my mind how these people are even people. They're not sympathetic. They sit here and I'm crying my eyes out to them saying, "Why are you doing this? I would like my child back." And they just sit there smiling at me or looking down at the ground knowing, I know. I know your pain. I know your feelings. No, you don't, you stupid idiots. You don't know my pain. You don't know what... You've never had a child taken from you with nothing. Being accused of nothing. And having evidence after evidence showing them nothing. And they still won't give back my child. This is what Texas has looked at, what I have seen in Texas. I am sorry. I will say I hate being in Texas most. And I am not afraid to say it. Ever since I got down here, nothing good has happened to me. I was supposed to move down here with my whole family, and I have had my child ripped away from me for no reason. None. And I have... And you know what's sad? That people down here, lawyers, my husband's parents, and everybody else just sits there and just looks at me like, well, what am I supposed to do about it? What happened to justice? What happened to actually showing evidence that nothing has happened and then having it dismissed and then having your child come back to you? Nah, that's not what justice is down here. Justice is where people are grandparents, has enough money, is allowed to take your child away from you because they don't like the way you raise your own children, the way that you're not rich. And because you're colored and disabled, that makes it okay for grandparents who have a lot of money, it's okay for them to take your child away from you because they think they can do better. They don't realize that messing with a mother and a child can have a big consequence to the mentality in their head. Even my child, my little girl, now realizes, I wouldn't doubt she realizes that she'll probably never see me. And only allowed to see me once a month. Only allowed to talk to me one day a week for 30 minutes. And I am not allowed to say when she can come home, when she can be with us again. Do you realize, if anybody's listening, do you realize how hurtful and suffering that child is going through? She won't say it. No, my child is smart. Like, smart. I'm like proud of her, how smart she is. But you know what? This mother here, I will not give up. I have told them numerous times. I will come back every year and fight for my daughter until she is back in my arms again. Because I'm not giving up on her. I will love her to the day I die. Both of my kids. Even my 16-year-old that gives me headaches and doesn't want me to be around, I still love him. And God forbid, I love that little girl and I will fight until I can't fight no more, until I cannot breathe, unless I am dead. I will fight for her. I will come to that court every single year and I will tell them, give her back to me. Because they have no evidence to sit in there and take my child away from me. This is what legal and just, there's no justice down here. And that's sad. That's really sad. You definitely see people ripping kids away from their parents and thinking it's okay. I feel better. So whoever's listening to this, thanks for listening. I needed a rant. I felt really lonely. And usually my holidays are full of my kids. And this is my second year without my kids. And it's just not the same. 5 years of raising her is just not the same anymore. I've gotten more depressed. My husband has gotten more depressed. We are trying our best to getting her back home. And I know for sure someday she will come back to me and she will never leave. Never. And I will never trust. And I will say this. I will never trust his parents ever again.